Of all 50 states, Oklahoma's Supreme Court is the fourth most liberal. Thank you. Thank you so much. Hi, good evening, everybody. Rhonda, thank you for that. Just warm welcome. This is my first time here at this meeting, and I want to just let you all know you all have been so warm and so welcome. We're all fighting the same fight. You know, I hear what you guys are talking about, and that's what we're looking for at OCPA. We want definitely fairness. We want transparency. We want more power to the voters, to the people. And so there are different issues that we look at to bring that to life. And one of the biggest things that Rhonda was talking about is how we get these justices placed on the Supreme Court and our Civil Appeals Court and our Criminal Appeals Court, because it goes up to there. So I'll start off with what I'm trying to say, so that if you guys don't remember anything, you'll remember the beginning part. We need to end the abortion protecting judicial nominating commission. Amen. That's case in point. We need to end that. Now, as Rhonda said, it is in the Constitution. And this should be so important, as Rhonda was saying, here to this group, because we, as the GOP, you all work really hard to conserve Oklahoma values. We look at Oklahoma. I am not a native of Oklahoma. I am originally from California. I hate to say it, but I'm from Southern California. But I am not one of the blue hippies that come from Southern California. Just a little bit about myself. I was born into a Christian family with very Christian, solid Christian values. And so I was the weirdo in Southern California that would wave at strangers. And my siblings would ask me, do you know them? Now, I was working at a bank back then. Prior to coming to OCPA, which was a little less than a year ago, my life was in banking. Branch banking, most recently with Gateway First Bank, which I'm sure you all are familiar with being here in Tulsa. So most recently with Gateway First Bank, being a branch manager and business development manager, very involved in the community. And that community work over the years is what brought me to OCPA. And so I was the weirdo that would wave at strangers in Southern California. My siblings would say, do you know them? And I would say, no, I don't. And they say, well, then why are you waving at them? And I said, well, I made eye contact with somebody. I'm going to acknowledge their existence as a human. And my siblings would say, well, that's going to get you shot one day. And then that's when I realized, okay, I need to get out of this environment. In 2015, I married my wife, and we moved here to Oklahoma, and we love it. We love Oklahoma. In 2016, our son was born. This is a perfect state to raise a family in, and we've been enjoying it ever since. But part of why I enjoy it is because these conservative values are preserved here in Oklahoma. And as the GOP, we work really hard to conserve those values. But as of late, Oklahoma law has not reflected these Oklahoma values that we hold so near and dear. So here's my question. How does a state with a conservative governmental trifecta, what does that mean? We have a conservative governor, a conservative-led House, and a conservative-led Senate. And it's not just led conservatively in the chambers. I mean, we have a super majority with a conservative governor. How do we then end up with a judiciary that allows mask mandates, that strikes down pro-life laws, like Rhonda was saying, over the past 2 years, ever since the Dobbs case and Roe v. Wade was overturned in 2022, Oklahoma voters, lawmakers have written good laws, and Oklahoma voters have voted for 5 abortion-limiting laws. And there is, in every law, there has been a clause where in the sense, or in the case where it saves the life of the mother, and all other options have been exhausted, then they allow abortion. And of those 5 laws that we have passed, they've all been shut down. I think only 1 has gone through. So 5 out of 6 abortion restricting laws that all of the Oklahomans voted for, and we want that. But these Supreme Court justices shot it down and said that is unconstitutional. How does that happen? How does that happen in our state, again, with the supermajority and the conservative trifecta here? And then they also demanded, as you all know, the removal of the 10 Commandments from the state capitol grounds. Now, they haven't gone away. They are actually on the grounds at OCPA. We caught them, we rescued them, we said we need to have them in a prominent place. And so we are stewards right now at OCPA of those 10 Commandments, because our hope is that we can put them back on the Capitol grounds someday where they belong. But how do we get such liberal justices? And that's what I'm here to talk to you about, the Judicial Nominating Commission. This Judicial Nominating Commission was it came out from corruption cases in the judiciary in 1965. I think most of you all are too young to remember this corruption case. In 1965, Justice N.S. Korn admitted to accepting bribes that would influence his decisions on the Oklahoma Supreme Court. Now, this isn't something that just happened in 1965. He admitted to, over the last 30 years, accepting bribes. And not just him, he also outed another 2 justices that said, oh, I take them, but so do these other 2 Supreme Court justices. So, in light of all this corruption, every good Democrat, which we had a Democrat governor at the time, they never let any chaos to go to waste. And so they recommended this Judicial Nominating Commission, which is also known as the Missouri Plan. And after this, we adopted this Missouri Plan system in which there's this outside commission, and they select judicial nominees, and then they present these nominees, up to 3 nominees, to the governor, and then the governor has to select from those 3 nominees. So really the governor's hands are tied. The governor has to select from these 3 nominees that the Judicial Nominating Commission brings up. Now, he cannot choose, or she cannot choose any other applicants. He has 60 days to select one of those 3, and if he doesn't, then the Chief Justice will select who they want on there. Now, let's talk about the makeup of this Judicial Nominating Commission, because the idea was, let's create a group of yes, attorneys, but also lay people, so that we all have this say as to who's going to represent us and the justices, who is going to pretty much tell us what the laws that we've worked on and voted for, what these laws mean. And so the Judicial Nominating Commission is made up of 15 members. 6 members are from the Oklahoma Bar Association, and they're the only attorneys on this 15-person Judicial Nominating Commission. So out of those 15, 6 of them are attorneys.
What percentage of attorneys are Democrats?
Almost all of them. Almost all of them. And that's the point I'm getting to. So 6 of them are attorneys, and those are the only members of the Judicial Nominating Committee, or the JNC, that can be attorneys. And then we have 6 members that are appointed by the governor, but he is required to not be partisan. As in, of these 6, 3 of them have to be liberal, and 3 can be conservative. So
far we have 9 liberals and 3 conservatives.
Exactly. I'm glad you're catching on to this. So far we have 9 liberals and 3 conservatives. And so that makes up 12. We still have 3 more. One of these members is appointed by the Senate Pro Temp, and 1 is appointed by the House Pro Temp, and then that's 14. And the last one, the 15th person, is appointed by the 14 members. So again, doing the numbers game, of the 14, how many liberals do we have?
9.
We have 9.
Well, who selects the 6 attorneys from
The Oklahoma Bar Association.
But aren't there other attorneys in the Oklahoma Bar Association that are not liberal?
There are. And this is where we're going to get to, again, it's groupthink. So of the 14, we have 9 liberals and 5 conservatives, and they say, of those 14, you guys can select the 15th member. Well, who do you think they're going to select? Another liberal. So now we have 10 liberals and 5 conservatives. Now, they are never going to judge in a conservative way. It's a simple numbers game. Now, and as you said, almost all lawyers that come out of the Oklahoma Bar Association lean left. How did this system get created? Who thought of this system?
Lawyers.
The lawyers, the American Oklahoma Bar, or the American Bar Association. So Oklahoma took this model from the American Bar Association. A group of lawyers, electing lawyers, appointing more lawyers. Do you see this conflict of interest? Then they get to interpret the law that other lawyers are defending or, are fighting against. There's this huge conflict of interest. So that's the actual JNC. Now, what's their function? How do they work? The JNC nominates Supreme Court justices, the state Supreme Court, and also state appellate court judges. We talked about the the criminal appeals court and then civil appeals court to fill in a vacancy on those seats. And then the governor must select from these three that the JNC nominates. He cannot select anybody else. And again, like I said, if he does not select within 60 days, then the JNC themselves or the Chief Justice of the JNC gets to appoint who's going to fill the vacancy on that Supreme Court. One of the things that really bothers me about this is all of this is done in secrecy. They do not have public meetings. The way they vote is not public. They do not interview candidates in public. This is all in secret. This is all behind closed doors. And we cannot request or ask for a voting, or, at OCPA, we have scorecards, and we show how every representative and senator votes on certain bills that are of interest to us, and they're on record. The JNC does not hold any public meetings. It does not disclose who they interviewed or reveal how the members voted. It's all done in secrecy. That's something that really hits to me. And then also these 6 members of the Bar Association, they hold 100% of the subject matter expertise, because these 6 members from the Bar Association are the only attorneys there. So think about it. When there is a case brought before the JNC, when there is a case brought before the Supreme Court, these judges are mostly liberal. And then when there is a matter where they need to say, okay, who are we going to appoint? Well, as we talked about, the numbers game, they're mostly liberal. So the group think is going to say, well, the attorneys are the subject matter expertise in this. They know who are good attorneys. They will know who the corrupt attorneys are. They'll know who is right, who's wrong. So let's lean on the opinion of the attorneys. The attorneys only hold 40% of the actual JNC, but 100% of the subject matter expertise. That's not right. It's a completely outsized influence on the JNC itself. So the GOP, yes.
So they are not subject to the Freedom of Information Act or the Oklahoma Open Meetings Act?
No.
Neither.
This is all done behind closed doors. Yes.
So why can we not get rid of the Missouri, or whatever you said it was called?
The Missouri plan?
Yes, why can that not be changed? Why can we not get rid of that?
Like Rhonda was saying, it's in our Constitution, and so that is the solution. We need to amend the Constitution, get rid of the Missouri plan, and I'll tell you what we're going to replace, what we'd like to replace it with. But as you guys can see, why this is an issue. I mean, as our GOP groups, we work hard to engage grassroots to advocate for conservative policies. We elect legislators, which isn't easy, right, to write these conservative laws. And then we work to also elect conservative governors. We've done that here in Oklahoma. And then we also even vote for Republican presidents, right? Over the past 5 presidential elections, the Republican nominee has won all 77 counties in Oklahoma. We want to hold on to these Oklahoma values, these conservative values, but all of this work is being undermined by the baby-killing JNC. All of it. Because let me tell you why. In 2016, Trump ran on this promise of many, right? But there's one promise. He said he was going to appoint 3 Supreme Court justices to overturn Roe v. Wade in the Dobbs case. And then he was going to send the abortion issue back to the states where it belongs. And he did that. He kept his promise. It came back to Oklahoma. So you would think, great. As Oklahomans, we are going to make sure that abortion is not something that happens here in Oklahoma. We want to save these lives of these children. So he did that. How was he able to appoint these 3 justices? That's the Madison model. This Madison model has been around since the founding of the United States. James Madison, that's why it's called the Madison model. James Madison and Alexander Hamilton thought really hard to not put so much power in either the executive or the legislative or the judicial branch, especially the judicial branch. They wanted to make sure there were checks and balances in that. And so that's where the James Madison model is. Have the executive branch nominate who is going to be placed on the judicial branch with legislative confirmation. What does that look like in Oklahoma? What would it look like in Oklahoma? Have the governor nominate who he wants to replace which judges on the Supreme Court, on the appellate courts as well, with legislative confirmation. That is the model where us as the voters, we have more power than what we currently have. Right now, everything is done in secret. Right now, we have no idea what's going on. We have no idea who is on the JNC. Do any of you know one member of the JNC? No, we don't even know who they are. This is all done in secret. But if we want to implement the James Madison model, we want to allow, like I said, the governor to nominate who he wants to place on the board, on the judges, all right? And so then this will then have the legislative confirmation. So the JNC does away with it. We can't even fix it. We can't amend it. There's no correcting it. It needs to go.
Is there a term for the judges? No.
There's no term for the judges. They do come up for re-election, and this is one thing that people have asked about. Well, if these are terrible judges, why can't we just get rid of them? Currently, we can. They come up for re-election. Do people ever elect them out? No, because they don't know much about these judges. But even if they were to be elected out, who do you think they're going to be replaced with?
Another one just the same.
Another one just the same, because the issue is who's nominating these judges? The liberal JNC.
So if you go to the Madison,
Yes.
first of all, the nominee is going to be known.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be cited.
Yes.
And then I would assume whatever confirmation hearing he goes through in the state legislature, or the state senate, I would assume,
Mm-hmm.
would be an open
Open records.
meeting, just
Yes.
like it is in the federal government.
Yes, yes. Anybody would be able to go into the chamber and sit and listen and watch and know what's going on. Yes.
How do you change this from one model to another? Can that be done through a initiative petition?
Well, right now, this is why on your screen, and I need to be very careful as to what I'm saying because I do represent OCPA. We're a C3, and I've been told very carefully not to act as a lobbyist and the C4 because I can get in trouble, and so can OCPA.
Can I answer a question?
Yes, you can. You can definitely answer questions.
The way that it changed is it has to go to a vote of the people.
Yes.
The only way that it can go to a vote of the people is through either a joint resolution between the House and the Senate. The governor can call for a state question, or it would be an initiative petition, which is very costly and expensive and
Hard.
could be very well turned over by the Supreme Court.
Correct, correct.
So, for anybody that wants to challenge. So, it's going to take a vote of the people.
Mhm.
It's gonna be up to us to educate the people. But first, we've gotta get our legislators to pass legislation to put it on the ballot.
Right. And on this handout, you all have on your table. If you don't have one, please let me know. On the back, there's this website that cites all the information where I got what I'm talking about. www.repealjnc.com. Right now, there is legislation that has been presented by Senator Julie Daniels. I can't say a bill number, but if you look it up, repealjnc.com, it'll show there what Julie Daniels has proposed. And in this, it will do both. It'll get rid of the JNC and it'll replace it with the Madison model. So that's really good. Yes.
Can't we impeach these guys?
Yes.
Why we do?
Well, no, not on the JNC.
Why not?
Because they are not. We don't have as voters. They don't have any accountability to us in the current model. They don't have accountability to the voter. That's another thing. There's no accountability.
It's like an NGO.
Yeah, what kind of a governor would allow that it had to be a Democrat.
At the time, it was a Democrat governor.
Had to be a
For the
Democrat.
first 100 years.
Yes.
That's how they rule.
Exactly. We had another question?
No, well,
Yes.
not for you.
Okay, yes, for Rhonda.
For Rhonda.
There are things I can't say. I'm being recorded.
On this thing, it says support Senate Joint Resolution 34.
Okay,
Okay, so that's what we're supposed to be supporting. I can't ask you that because you can't
Correct.
say it, but I'm asking you.
that is correct.
Okay, so everybody out here, support
So-
Senate Joint Resolution 34.
So it's a joint resolution, which means it has to go through the House and it's gonna have to go through the House and the Senate, and then the governor will approve it. But yes, this is the plan, is that we,
How far along is it right now, Rhonda?
right there, at the bill stage. But I can tell you that there's a passion for it, and I think there's especially a passion for it because we have 3 Supreme Court justices that are up for retention vote this year. And so, I asked Jonathan, because I attended their meeting that they did last week, so that I could get a little bit more knowledge on this. And I asked him, I said, what would happen, maybe it was Dave Vaughn, but, if we were able to get the resolution passed and change the Constitution and get rid of the three judges. And that would be like the grand slam of everything, you know, I mean, but-
So is there any group organizing a visit to the Capitol to lobby for this?
That was the coalition call that you were on, correct? Was it that Zoom
well,
call?
no, I went to the meeting at the office, at the
Oh, okay.
headquarters last week.
Got it. Okay.
So, yeah, there's gonna be groups and organizations that we can partner with to get behind and get this through, but it's gonna take us talking to people.
Mm-hmm.
This is about educating the public because people have no idea how we do things. They have no idea how we get our Supreme Court justices. They think it's just the same as they do in DC. You know, oh, well, the governor gets to appoint. No, and when you explain it to them, and literally, he's given 3 names.
Mm-hmm.
3 names, and that's all he's getting. And if he doesn't pick one, he doesn't get 3 new names. Then, like he said, the
Chief
head
Justice, yeah.
The Chief Justice is the one that gets to pick it. So I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you're
I'll
fine.
answer-
Thank you.
I can answer those.
Yes. So I believe the deadline is through April because it does need to be swapped over to the other chamber
Okay.
because it's a joint resolution.
But I think it can happen faster.
Yes.
If
Oh, we
they-
definitely
if
want
the-
it to happen.
If the Senate votes on it today and they send it over to the House can vote on it tomorrow. The governor can decide, hey, we're gonna go ahead and do this. I mean, it's not gonna happen this fast, let's be real. But, and then that gives us 6 months to be able to talk about it. But
To help make it faster, I do have a lot of these on that back table. What this is a letter. If you can sign it and put your address, I will personally deliver these to your state rep and to your state senator and let them know that, and so I can let them know that my people here in Tulsa think this is a big deal. They're all there, and so I will deliver this to their office. But if you sign 2 of these, one for your rep and then one for your senator, with your address so I know who it is, that would be very, very helpful.